This conference will now be recorded.
Give the permission to direct with me. Okay, so we will manage it. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
So Kaveri, you can talk. You just talk with Satish after the class and send the all the payment details. Okay, and get the 50% of payment. Okay, then after completion of the Python, then again can go ahead. Okay, and fine. What about Shravani? Shravani, we are not yet received in a single rupee from your end. Also, this is not a correct thing, guys. As a trainer, right? It's not correct way to ask the money and to ask the fees. You should understand the situation. Okay, the people, the Kaveri and so who are organizing this organization, those are people are very new. They don't know how they will ask the payment and everything. Okay, so please go through it. Okay, so please manage it. Okay, Shravani, you're not you should respond after the class by the Kaveri. Okay. Is there any question regarding about this till now what we discussed? Hello. Hello. Hello, Vijay, Satish, Sarika, Sai
Hello,
Kiran.
Anjan.
sir.
Is there any
Good to
kind
know.
of questions till now what I was explaining?
No, everything is fine.
No,
Everything
sir.
is fine, right? Okay, that's good. Please mute your systems, all of you. Mainly Vijay. I'm getting the back echo from your end. Oh, that's nice. Okay, let's go for open your Anaconda Navigator. So I think we are already started loops concepts, right? From that loops, I explained you while loop. Today, I would like to talk about the for loop. The for loop is totally different for the other programming languages. Okay, so it's a totally different for it. So you just try to understand how the for loop is being executing. Just launch it. Oh. Okay, if you're not having the laptop, then we can just Google it like collab.google.research.com. Then you can go through the any Jupyter notebook and we can execute whatever the statements I'm executing in my computer. Okay, the same things you can execute in your system itself. Okay, Mohit, I think Kaveri, call to Mohit. I think he was not connected with audio, so I think he couldn't able to get my voice. Just talk with him once. I think he's facing some
Okay,
issue for audio problem. I think he is not able
sir.
to hear me. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Fine. So let's go for today's class, guys. What's my class? The last thing. Okay. So this is the thing was written in a wrong edit down. Edit. So just I'm modifying the name. Name was not correct. It's not underscore. It's underscores, not hyphens. It's hyphen, not underscores. Okay, that's nice. Now save and close. Yes. So what's the today date, guys? I think it's a 28, right? I couldn't take yesterday's class, and sorry for it. And let's go for the create the new Jupyter file. and the file name is the file name is what? It's a 01. It's a 01, 28 and 2022, and we are talking about the Python for loop. So coming to this particular Python for loop, so this is also will be used for same purpose, to repeat the task in a multiple times. But thing is that which is not working on the condition. In case of Python programming language, for loop is not working on the condition. For loop or for is not depending on or not the for loop, okay, in Python is not depending on the condition, okay, not depending on condition. See, for example, guys, in case of other programming languages like C, C++, or any other programming languages, if you want to do some kind of task continuously, there also we can use the for loop also, but there the for loop was depending on the condition, same like while. If and only if the condition was true, then only the task inside of the for was executed. But in case of Python programming language, this was totally different. So here it was depending on the number of elements in a sequence. Okay, you may have the some sequence of elements. We have some sequence of elements or sequence of data elements. Okay, so how many number of elements are there? That many times the for loop was depending. Okay, how many elements are there, how many data elements we have it, that many times the for loop was executed. Is it clear my point? That many times the for loop was executed, repeated, nothing but. Clear? So let's try to do a small flow chart for more understanding purpose. For example, guys, I have the one sequential variable. This is my sequential variable. Okay, so this is the sequential variable. It may have the some number of elements are there. Let us consider I have the 5 elements are there. This is my first element, this is my second element, and this was, for example, this is my third element, this is my fourth element, this is my fifth element. Let us consider I have the some sequence of elements are there. It may be list, it may be tuple, it may be set, it may be dictionary, it may be string also. So there are some kind of group of elements that we are calling it's a sequential data type, right? So I have the 5 sequential elements are there in one particular variable. Let us consider this is the variable name is, for example, A. Okay, this is the A is my sequential type and which is consisting the 5 elements. Okay, now that's fine. But how this for loop was being executing based upon this particular sequence? For example, I have the for. Okay, I have the for. So let us consider this is my for. So this is the for. Internally you have to define user defined variable. This is my for. The for having the user defined variable that will be, for example, a variable name is anything. Okay, so the for is the variable which is having the 2 variables or which is having the 2 data elements. One is the sequential variable, one is the sequential variable, second one is the normal fundamental variable. Okay, so this is the for. First, initially what it will do, this is the fundamental variable updating the first element. That means for first iteration the for loop which was having one variable, the variable which is assigning the first element of the sequential variable, when it is updated automatically, then the particular task was executed. Okay, after execution of the task, again it will be go for the for loop only. By the time of for loop, for second iteration which is holding the second element from the sequential variable. When the variable E, which is updating successfully from the sequential variable, then the task was executed. After execution of this particular task, again it will be go for the updating the third element. For third iteration, updating the third element. Once third element also updated successfully, then it will be go for execution of that particular task third time. Once the task was executed third time, then it will be go for updating the fourth element. Even the fourth element also updated successfully, then it will be go for the executing the task fourth time. After updating the fourth element or after executing the fourth time, again it will be go for updating the fifth element. Even the fifth element also updated successfully in the E variable, then fifth time the task was executed. Once fifth time also the task was executed, it will be go for updating the sixth element. Is there any sixth element here? Is there any sixth element here?
No, sir.
No, right? When
No.
when the E or the fundamental variable inside of the for loop, which is unable to update at the next element, then automatically the loop was stopped. After the loop was stopped, so you may have the one particular block that is optional block that you can say that it's a else block. Guys, this is the else is optional block. This is not a mandatory. So this is the else block will be executes when the fundamental variable which is unable to updating from the sequential variable. Got it? Got it or not?
Sir.
Is there any question regarding about the flow chart of the for loop? Is there any question, guys? I
No,
requesting
sir.
to you all, if you have any questions, please raise it. I would like to explain one more time. No, right? Sai,
No,
Kirti, Praveen.
No, sir. No, sir.
Fine. Let's go with the syntax. Coming to the syntax, the program which is being starting from the first statement, by the time of execution of each and every statement, so you got a for keyword. Here for is the keyword and followed by a variable that is user defined variable, and you should use the in keyword. Here for and in are the keywords. So the in keyword, the left side will be the fundamental variable, the right side will be the sequential variable. Sequential variable means the variable it may contains the multiple elements. That's it. So for each and every updation, for each and every iteration, the var is updating the elements from the sequential variable. For each iteration, it was executing the task inside of the for. So whatever the task you defined inside of the for, that particular task is being executing. Once the task was execution is done, then the var is updated from the value from the sequential var. So this will be the keep on doing it until unless all elements updation completed from the sequential variable to the var. Okay. So once all iterations are done, then the for loop or the for block can be stopped. Once the for block was stopped, then so you have some optional task also you can create it. It's up to your choice. That particular else block will executes. Okay. After that one, stop statements will execute. This is the simply syntax for the for loop. Is there any questions regarding about this one? Is there any questions? No, right?
no.
I don't know you are doing what's wrong with me. I don't know, but you guys are not even not even talk. Okay, so let's do a small program for more understanding. Okay, So let's do a small program for understanding of this particular thing. Let's clear these all drawings. Then I just write a small program. Okay, write a program. Print the elements in list. So you have one list variable is there. Okay, you have the one list variable is there. Okay, so from maybe the list variable, it might be consisting of the some more number of elements. So let us consider I have the one variable name, that is my sequential. So sequential, let us consider the name of the variable is sequential underscore list. The variable name, it can be anything, guys, but here this is having the list elements. For example, 12, 45, 90 and 34 and 19 and 56, something like this. I have the 6 elements are there. Okay, so this is my list which is having the 6 elements are there. I want to print the each and every element without using indexing, without using indexing, without using indexing. Okay, so if you are not using the indexing, if you want to print the elements, then you have to access the element by element with the help of the for loop. So you just generating the for, and you can give you any name. Here I can give the name is ele. You should use the in keyword and followed by the sequential variable. Here my sequential variable is, it's a sequence underscore list. So the list which consisting the 6 elements are there. For first iteration, the ELE variable holding the first element, so that it is printing the 12. Okay, for second iteration, it will be go for second element, the LE variable holding the second element. For third iteration, third element. For fourth iteration, fourth element. For every iteration which is printing the ELE only. That means 12, 45, 90, 34, 19, 56, something like this, which is printing it all. Okay, is it clear? Are you printing the elements in the list or not? In the same way, you can able to go with the tuple also. So it can work for any sequential, guys. It doesn't matter for whether it is a list or tuple, whatever it is. It can be anything. Okay. So let's execute. Even it is also, sorry, this thing we should change the name. It's up to your choice. So what name you are using, that particular name only we should use it. So it can same for list. It can be same for tuple. It can be same for string also. Okay. Yep. Is there any question regarding about this one? Same thing, if I use the for loop, what happen will see.
Sir, one question. So what is this indexing you have written without using indexing? No? What is the
Okay,
meaning of
I think some people are the new for index means accessing elements with the help of some numbers, position numbers. Index means positional number. Okay. So for example, you have some list of elements are there. So one is the 10 and second one is the 45 and surplus okay 10, 45 and 89 and 100, something like this. We have the 4 elements are there. Okay, in this particular situation, the position which is starting from the 0, this is the position is 1, this position is 2, this position is 3. So these are the positions of the numbers of this particular list or elements in this particular list. So I'm not using this indexing. Directly I can able to access elements with help of the for loop. Okay, so let's, for more understanding of this one, we should go some example. So this is my A, which is having the 4 elements. If I am using the indexing, indexing will notation with square brackets, A of 0, which means this will be the first element. If I am using the A of 1, then second element, that will be my 45. If I go with the A of 2, then which means it will be the 89. Okay, if I go with the A of 3, then fourth element, what will be my fourth element? It's 100, right? So this is the indexing. So with help of this positional numbers, we can able to go for access the elements in a list and tuple. Okay, but now without using any indexing, we can use the for loop and we can able to access the elements continuously. Got it?
Yeah. Okay, sir.
And then you have used the list in the both the examples.
Sorry, that's again my mistake. Nice observation. Who is that?
Satish.
Nice, Satish. Guys, find out the mistake from my end also, guys.
Thank you, Anjan.
Okay. Okay, done, right? Now let's go for the small program. I want to find out the integer numbers. Write a program, find the, sorry, write a program, find the integer numbers. Yes, write a program, find the or return the integer numbers in a sequence. Print only integer numbers in a sequence. You have some sequences there. Sequence means it can be holding any type of elements, right? It can be integer, it can be float, it can be complex, it can be bool, it can be anything. So my intention is I just want to access only integer numbers. I just want to access only integer numbers. Okay. So for example, so I have the list. It may have the integer, it may have the float, it may have the complex. Again, I have the integer. Okay, I may have the string. Okay, I may have the again integer. So let me tell me how many number of integers are there here? 12 and 67 and 78.
78.
Only 3 integers are there. Remaining all data elements are the different type of elements. I want to access only integer type of elements. Okay, so I don't know what element it is, so that I should access the every time. I would like to access the element by element with help of the for loop from the A, and I want to check that whether E is the integer or not. So we have the is instance method is there. This is the one way function is instance A and int. So in case of A is the integer type, then if will be returns the true. If E is the if statement, if condition was returns the true, then I would like to go for printing the E. Is it A or E? It's a E, guys. It's my mistake again. So here we have the one element. This is the element we are accessing from this A. This is the E, whether it is the integer type or not, that we can able to find out with help of the is instance method. If this was returns the true, then I can print the E. Otherwise, I don't print it. So simply we can execute this one. We are accessing only integers or not. So inside of the for also we can able to go for using the if blocks. Doesn't matter. But thing is that careful observe here. So here the for is the block which is having the some space. Okay. But whenever if we started a space, you're giving one more space extra or not. So that means this is the print statement which is belongs to the this if, but this is if block which is belongs to the for block. Okay, is there any questions, guys?
Also,
Satya, is there any questions? Okay, Satish, Sarika, Kirti, Saikiran,
No, Anjan, good to go.
Queen. Yeah,
No, sir.
it's fine.
No, sir.
Nice. Now here I want to introduce a small function. The name of the function is range function. So when we are using the for loop, most of the time the people are habituated to use the range function. Okay, so basically the range function which requires the three arguments, one is the start, one is the stop, one is the step. So the range is a function minimum which requires the three arguments: start, stop, and step. Okay, for example, if I used the starting is my 10 and I should stop at 45, every sixth element I want access, which means which can be written as the list which contains the sequence of elements with the stepwise. 10, the step is 6, right? So 10 plus 6 is 16, 16 plus 6 it's a 22, 22 plus 6 it's a 28, 28 plus 6 it's a 34, 34 plus 6 it's a 40, 40 plus 6 it's a 46, 46 will be the more than the 45, right? More than or equal to 45, right? So that it will be stop. So the range is stop when it is the stop element is reached. So more than or equal to, even the stop element is, even the last element is 45, but it will be the stop, then it won't access it. Okay, let me try that example also. So you just run this one, so which is generating the 1046. It is the Python 3, right? So that it was something like it's not returning in the format of list, but actually when we are using the for loop, then it was generating those particular element. But in case of Python 2, those it can, in case of Python 2, it was it was returning in the format of list only. So let's try this one. 10, 45, and 6. So if I use this one, what it was returning? It was returns the 10, 16, and 22, 48, 34, and 40 only. Is it correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the step is default, it's a 1. Step default, it's a 1, which means if you're not mentioning the step, in between the 10 to 45, it was returning it. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and so on. Okay. So the default value of the step is 1. So that if I use the range function, range of 12, 18, I couldn't mention the step. If I couldn't mention the step, then it was generating the elements continuously. Okay. And moreover, so that means if you are sending the three arguments, that means start, stop, step. If you are sending only two arguments, which means start and stop only. If you are sending only one argument, which means stop, we are providing it. So that by the time start will be the 0, start default value is the 0, step default value is the 1. Okay. For example, for e in range of for example 8, by the time which is starting from the 0 and it will be stop at 8, right? That means till 7 we can access it, 0 to 7. Okay, this is about the for loop, guys. Done. Do you have any kind of questions regarding about this particular for loop?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, let's do a small program. Write a program, find the factorial of a number. Okay, if I enter the 5, I should get the result is 120. So it was very simple, right? So you should take the number from the user. So the number you should enter by the user itself, enter the n value that was converting into the integer. So you have to defining the fact variable that default it's a 1, and for I in a range of so which is starting from the 2 to 2 to n plus 1 till n also we should access. If you want access the n, you should give you the stop is n plus 1. Okay, so that we can able to access the n. For every iteration, the fact will be multiplied with the I value. So when all iterations are done, the else block will executes. The else block will executes. The fact is, it's your fact variable. Just run it. If I enter the 5, I should get the output is 120. So this is the way you can use the for and else in case of implementation of different kind of items, different kind of repetitive tasks. Then we can use the for loop. Just noted this particular example, guys. Done, right? Can I go with the next one? See, I would like to give you a task for you. You just need to go for implementing the factorial, but full-fledged factorial. For example, for factorial of the non-integers, it's not possible. If the input is non-integers in the sense it's not integer, so then you should display the text is factorial is not possible, not possible for that specific data type, for this type of data type. Okay, and that data type you should mention it. For example, you entered the integer number, but it was like negative numbers. For negative integers, also factorial is not possible. Factorial is not possible. So that kind of message I want to see it if you enter the negative number. If and only if you enter the positive number 0 to any number, so you should find the factorial. You should just display the factorial of n and result, and that particular result you should do it. This is your task, guys. Just finish it. I just give you 5 minutes of time. At least you should execute. You just write in your notes and you just send to me also if you're not having the laptop at this moment. Hello, done guys? Same program, nothing new. If is instance n enter, so you should just use the not keyword. Okay. Okay. If in case my n is the integer only, then only I would like to do this particular operation. Okay. And n should be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so n should be the integer as well as n should be more than or equal to 0. That particular situation, it will do this particular operation. Otherwise, if in case n is the less than 0, then what it will do, you would like to go for print the, here we just print the n value is negative number, so factorial is not possible. Factorial is not possible. Okay, for example, the first condition was false, second condition is also false. That means it's not the integer, right? So that I can able to go with else block. So here you just print the n is type. You just print the type of n. So factorial is not possible. Factorial, right, is not possible. Okay, let me execute this one. If I enter the some float value, oh shit, instead of the float you can go with anything above. Okay, just a minute, something I'm wrong for it here. The program is correct only, but because of Python 3, its default it automatically converting into the integer. So that's the thing we are facing over here. Manually we can provide it instead of this one. Okay, for example, if it is the -23, for -23 negative numbers, -23 is a negative number, so factorial is not possible. Okay, so same code we just run it, but by this time I would like to change the number. The number is for example a complex number. So for complex number, okay, so not supported complex number. So complex numbers comparison is not possible. So this kind of issues we are getting. So this is the type error, guys. This is the type error. To handle this kind of type error in further classes, we have the try and except blocks are there. Okay, try and except So these are the keywords we have it. So these are the two keywords will help you to handle this kind of type errors. So the above program, it's a correct only, but thing is that it's a type error. That means it's an exception. It's not an error, it's exception. Exceptions are different, errors are different. In a real time, sometimes your program was logic is correct, but I mean your syntax is correct, but logic was wrong. So when you have the logic is wrong, then that kind of situation, maybe this kind of errors you might be getting. So instead of this one is you can go with the string. So string, right? So here also we are getting the so not supported for this operation. Okay, so number should be like it's a float. For example, if I just enter the float type, you are not providing the type. Yes, just run it. Yes, now you can see 23.45, it is a float number. So for float number, factorial is not possible. Okay, this is what. So just note these examples for negative numbers, for float and any other data type. So it's not possible. So that's the reason, guys. Here we are using the not keyword. This kind of situation. So I would like to go for handle the instead of this one. I just use the not. So in case of it's not an integer, then I would like to print this one, this particular statement. Same program I'm writing in a different logic. Okay, so next one is elif. It is the integer only, but the number can be like greater than 0. Okay, if in case the number is greater than 0, sorry, less than 0, then this is the logic will executes. This is the logic will executes. Okay, and else, here we have the else block. So this is the two else are not required. Okay, now we can see same program, if else only, but the statements was interchanged. So see, float, if I enter the some negative number or some other any complex number, for example, I enter the complex number, this moment also which is working fine. Previously I got an error, so type error I got it, but now I handle it in a different way. So the logic can be in a different ways, guys. Okay, I hope you guys have understood how we can able to use the for and other blocks as well. And so whatever the assignments I given the day before extra day, same programs you can try to finish it with help of the for loop.
Then please once check my code.
Sorry, yes, you just share your screen then. Okay, so you're sending a chat, huh? Okay, fine.
Yeah. Actually, I took int on the right hand side of the if statement. Is it allowed?
No, it's not work. So see, you are finding the type, but it's a class, right? Is it working?
The print statement is wrong, I think. I'll share my screen once.
Yeah, now we can share it.
Okay.
So you just enter the number was enter, execute this one.
I'm inputting 5, but this print statement is not.
That means which means you know, the if was condition is failed, if condition is failed. Okay, that's not a correct way. You can use my
So
logic.
yeah.
You just use my logic.
This is not correct, right?
That is not correct.
Okay.
You just use my logic only. Is instance is the method. It will help you to know the whether it this particular data type or not. Okay.
Okay, Jim.
Okay. Bye. Take care.
Bye. Take care too.
Bye, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, bye, sir.